Long, long ago, Earth faced a huge disaster. Picture this, a massive rock zoomed towards us super fast from the south. When it crashed into Earth, it was like a kaboom of 10 billion atomic bombs all together. The whole world turned into a fiery oven for more than 20 minutes. Fires burst out everywhere, gobbling up everything. The ground shook like crazy, making earthquakes that might have set off volcanoes, covering parts of India in hot, melted rock. But the nightmare didn't stop there. Thick clouds of dust filled the air, blocking the sun for about 15 years. Can you believe it? Everything got super cold, like the longest winter ever. This disaster wiped out a huge 75% of all life on Earth. But in all that mess, some tough creatures figured out how to survive. Crocodiles, known for their toughness, could go without food for a long time, eating whatever dead animals floated by in the water. Birds with teeth couldn't make it, but those with beaks changed their diets to harder stuff like seeds. And our early mammal ancestors hid in the shadows, staying safe from danger to stay alive. Now think about us. Imagine if that same big rock hit us again, just like before. How would we do? Would we be like those tough survivors, finding ways to keep going, or would we end up like the dinosaurs, gone forever from Earth? It's a big question that really makes you think. In the blink of an eye, Central America and parts of the southern United States suddenly disappear in a huge explosion. Within seconds, a massive 100 million lives are gone. And just the sound alone is deadly for anyone within 1,500 kilometers. Just a few minutes later, super strong earthquakes shake the Earth, stronger than any ever felt. Enormous tsunamis, as tall as skyscrapers at 100 meters, crash onto coastlines, swallowing everything. They flood areas up to 100 kilometers inland, drowning over 3 billion people. Most of the damage hits the United States, putting hundreds of millions more at risk. For those farther away, the shaking ground is a clear sign. Find shelter underground before the fiery storm comes. All around the world, there are millions of shelters made for emergencies, with hundreds of thousands in Switzerland alone. Places like Derinkuyu in Turkey and Nushabad in Iran have underground cities that can hold millions of people. These shelters, plus temporary ones like mines and subway stations, could save billions of lives from the first explosion's destruction. Yet even if these shelters survive the strong earthquakes, most aren't ready to keep people safe for long. After the impact, the sky would pour down fiery debris and acid, making going outside really dangerous for years. Only a few special advanced bunkers built by governments and rich folks would give lasting protection. Deep in the Raven Rock Mountain complex in Pennsylvania, managed by the US government, there are said to be 3-story buildings with their own water sources, able to hold thousands of people. But the details are kept secret from the public. Similar emergency bunkers probably exist in other big countries, suggesting that governments worldwide might keep running, at least at first. Meanwhile, wealthy people are hurrying to New Zealand because they believe they can survive there on their own. They're building fancy bunkers stocked with enough supplies to last for years, but surviving won't be a walk in the park. A huge cloud of dust would block the sun, messing up crops everywhere. Over time, food would run out, and clean water would be tough to find because of acid rain. Starvation could become a major problem, possibly wiping out billions of people. But even in these hard times, humans might find ways to manage. Some could survive on fungi, which don't need sunlight and grow well after fires. As the world's climate changes, swinging between extreme cold and hot due to extra carbon dioxide, people might make it by being smart and tough. They'd have to carefully use what they have, search for anything helpful, and try to grow food wherever possible. Still, life wouldn't be anything like what we're used to. Imagine waking up one day to a world full of fear and darkness. But what if we saw it coming? In September 2022, NASA took a brave step. They sent their DART satellite to crash into a small asteroid 11 million kilometers away, and it worked. The asteroid's orbit slowed by a huge 32 minutes. Pictures from both the Hubble and James Webb Space Telescopes showed the debris cloud, proving that we can shield Earth from potential disasters. But not all space rocks are alike. The one NASA aimed at was just a tiny piece compared to the giant that wiped out the dinosaurs. That beast was over 10 kilometers wide, larger than Mount Everest. Avoiding such a huge rock is a massive challenge. Trying to smash it might just break it into many smaller but still dangerous pieces. If we had to prepare quickly for an asteroid crash, we'd need a backup plan. First, we'd move people from the Yucatan Peninsula and nearby areas to keep millions safe from the big impact. Then, we'd construct sturdy shelters that could withstand falling space rocks and powerful earthquakes. We could create underground cities using mine tunnels and deep caves, powered by nuclear reactors and featuring vertical farms. In places like Iceland, we could use geothermal heat, which comes from the Earth's core and doesn't rely on sunlight. This way, we'd have power until things returned to normal. Across the globe, there are over 20,000 kilometers of subway tunnels. Imagine if we transformed them into cities capable of accommodating over 1 billion people. Safeguarding seeds, animals, data, and important items would be crucial. Vaults scattered everywhere could hold onto these treasures until we figure out the next steps for humanity. But the most vital thing to protect is water. We could dig deep wells to store large amounts of water, ensuring they're lined with materials resistant to acid and sealed tightly. When it comes to food, we might need to think outside the box. Algae might not sound appetizing, but it's a fantastic backup food. It's highly efficient, can grow in low light, and requires minimal space. After several years of preparation, we might consider a bold idea: leaving Earth behind. Perhaps a small group of people could establish a colony on the Moon, observing events from a safe distance. They wouldn't know if they could ever return home, but at least they'd be secure. If you're as captivated by space science as we are, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and come along on our cosmic adventure. We've got loads of thrilling videos in store, all about delving into the wonders of space and uncovering its incredible secrets.